Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we are going to look way past all those dense acronyms and really explore the actual fundamental architecture of top-tier corporate defense. We're talking about ISMS and GRC. We're going to see how information security, it's not just some IT task assigned to the tech team. It's an absolutely foundational business discipline.
Okay, let's dive into this and look at our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the NovaPay security illusion. Second, ISMS, a living framework. Third, the 3 levels of management. Fourth, the GRC enterprise pillars. And finally, GRC and ISMS united. We're going to build this up step by step, so stick with me.
All right, Section 1, the NovaPay security illusion, security without strategy. So imagine a company. Let's call them NovaPay. They are a classic example of what happens when you execute security without an actual strategy. They've got daily security actions happening all the time. Firewalls are humming, patches are being pushed out across their different offices, but here is the massive friction point. There is literally zero connection to their actual business objectives. It's totally disconnected. Their competence is completely fragmented. They're out there executing hard at the operational level, but they are flying entirely blind tactically. Which forces us to pause for a second and ask, is just doing security stuff every single day really enough to actually be secure? Well, the answer is a resounding no. Just running antivirus or staring at monitoring logs without a coordinated, business-driven plan, that just creates an illusion of security. It's essentially just a random collection of technical chores, not a cohesive defense system. Moving right along to Section 2, ISMS, a living framework. Going beyond the checklist. Okay, so ISMS, what is it? It stands for Information Security Management System, and the key word here is system. This is a living, cyclical management framework that's driven by a business risk approach. Let me be super clear. It is absolutely not a product you can just buy off a shelf and install, and it's definitely not a checklist you fill out once and stuff in a drawer somewhere. Think about it like this. Just like a company relies on a quality management system for, quality, or an environmental management system for sustainability, the ISMS breathes, adapts, and evolves right alongside your business to systematically manage threats. Let's move to and see how this builds, because the ISMS is built on a very specific, continuous 4-step cycle. Plan, do, check, and act. PDCA. First, you plan. You establish your policies and figure out your specific business risks. Then you do. You actually roll up your sleeves and implement those controls. Next, you check to monitor performance, like, are those controls even working? And finally, you act to fix any failures, maintain the system, and continuously improve it. It's a never-ending loop, which is exactly how you make sure your security doesn't just go stale.
All right, Section 3, 3 levels of management, structuring security.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we actually structure all of this. It's a multi-dimensional pyramid. Up at the very peak, we have strategic management. Right in the middle, tactical management. And down at that broad base, operational management. For an ISMS to actually do its job, all 3 of these layers have to be communicating seamlessly. It's an absolute must. Let's break down exactly who is involved here and what they're actually doing at each layer. Up top, at the strategic level, the focus is entirely on aligning security with big-picture corporate goals, setting policies, determining risk appetite. This is the heavy-hitting board and executive-level stuff. Moving down to the tactical level, that's where security managers step in. They translate that broad executive direction into actual, usable domain roadmaps and risk frameworks. And then, at the operational level, you have your IT and security teams handling the daily grind. Monitoring, access control, incident response. Now remember our NovaPay example from earlier? Well, they only had that bottom operational row. Actually, scratch that. They were practically drowning in it. But without the strategic and tactical layers above it guiding the way, all those daily activities, they're really just noise without any direction. That brings us to Section 4, the GRC enterprise pillars, the ultimate authority. Now, we need to zoom out a bit. GRC stands for Governance, Risk, and Compliance. This isn't just an IT thing. This is a massive, enterprise-wide management philosophy. See, while your ISMS handles the really deep, specialized information security tasks, GRC spans the entire organization. We're talking finance, HR, legal, operations, IT, the whole shebang. GRC is the larger organizational environment, the ecosystem really, in which your ISMS operates. Let's quickly define the mandate of each of these pillars so we fully grasp this overarching philosophy. First up, governance. This is all about direction, authority, and accountability. It's basically the leadership structure that decides exactly who is on the hook for the outcomes. Then we have risk management. Think of this as the analytical engine. It takes these vague, scary threats and converts them into prioritized, mathematical protection decisions, so you aren't just guessing where to spend your budget. And finally, compliance. This ensures your organization's strict adherence to all those external legal, regulatory, and ethical obligations. Put them together, and these three pillars ensure that every single security decision you make actually makes solid business sense.
And finally, Section 5. GRC and ISMS united. Strategy meets execution.
So, the crucial point is really the contrast between these two frameworks. GRC provides the strategic what and why. It establishes the overall risk appetite, it allocates the budgets, it sets board-level accountability. The ISMS, on the other hand, provides the operational how and the proof. It's the deep specialization that actually delivers the technical execution and, crucially, provides the auditable evidence that those GRC mandates are actually being met. Simply put, GRC asks for the security and the ISMS delivers it.
To really ground these abstract concepts, let's use a brilliant analogy straight from the source material. Think of a hospital. You can think of GRC as the total hospital oversight. The hospital board sets policies for the entire building: surgery, pharmacy, finance, HR, IT, everything. They track surgical errors and make sure the whole place complies with broad health laws. The ISMS, though, is specifically the Medical Records and Data Security Department. They are a highly specialized unit enforcing patient data encryption, managing IT access, stopping data breaches. The hospital relies on GRC for that big-picture strategic oversight, while the ISMS makes absolutely sure that digital patient data is locked down and protected.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is we can also view this through a military lens, which I think is a great way to look at it. In this scenario, GRC represents the Joint Chiefs, or High Command. They manage all organizational risks, logistics, geopolitical threats, financial constraints, and they ensure compliance with international law. The ISMS represents the Military Intelligence and Cyber Division. High Command sets the grand strategy, but the ISMS handles the specific, highly technical information warfare. They're securing communications, protecting classified intel. They are a deeply specialized unit operating under the massive umbrella of a governing body.
So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to circle back to our NovaPay problem for a second, and I want you to reflect on your own organization. Ask yourself, do you have an integrated living security system or just a collection of disconnected activities? Because a true defense requires the strategic vision and authority of GRC perfectly combined with the operational execution of an ISMS. Without both working together in absolute harmony, well, you might just be living in a security illusion. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.